Don Oz, Chris Pallone, back with you in Glendale, Arizona. We are entering the final hour now until Auburn and Oregon play for the BCS National Championship behind us at the University of Phoenix Stadium. No doubt for Tigers fans, Chris, this will be a memorable game, but it's going to be tough to beat the last big game that they had in terms of playing Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
That's right. It's been a season of big games for Auburn this year, Don, and certainly the Iron Bowl was among them, if not the most important game. And if I said to you today, you can spot the defending national champions 24 points, would you lay a paycheck on coming back and winning that game?
No. And again, if I hadn't seen that game with my own eyes, I still wouldn't believe that it happened.
To this day, it is hard to believe that that happened. Take a look. Let's go back and relive what will forever be known as the comeback.
Heading into the 2010 Iron Bowl, Auburn had already locked up a spot in the SEC championship game, but its sights were set on a higher goal, playing in the BCS National Championship. To reach that goal, the Tigers had to beat the defending national champs in front of 101,000 of their hostile fans. A daunting task, to say the least. What happened in 60 short minutes of play on November 26th will go down as one of the greatest Iron Bowl games in history and will forever be remembered by Auburn fans as the comeback. Things couldn't have started out worse for Auburn. The Tigers ran into a buzzsaw, an Alabama team with nothing to lose. At the end of the first quarter, the Tigers were already down 3 touchdowns. Their defense showed no signs of being able to stop the prolific Tide. Just 22 minutes into the game, the onslaught continued. Alabama kicked a field goal, which pushed the Tide's lead to 24. Who would blame the Tigers if they packed it in, chalked it up to a bad day, and started thinking about their SEC championship matchup with South Carolina? But if you've watched the Tigers at all this season, you know quit isn't in their vocabulary.
During the time when the moments get tough, you really see the leadership, come into play in this team.
The Tigers had faced big deficits before and had surmounted each one, but this was the biggest they faced all year.
When you find ways to win, the first time and then the second time you do it again, and the third time you're just like, okay, well, when we come behind, we can do it, no matter what, how many we're down by.
The Crimson Tide made the fatal mistake of leaving the door to a comeback open just a crack, but that was enough for the never-say-die Tigers.
Our team just does so much things to make sure we stay on the same track and play as a team that we can come back from anything.
To say the Auburn defense is opportunistic is like saying the Grand Canyon is big. Fans on both sides can point to 3 plays which helped the Tigers climb back into the game. The first, an incredible and improbable play. A big gainer for Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram. But Antoine Carter caught him from behind, knocked the ball loose, and shot it into the end zone for a touchback, killing a sure Bama scoring drive. The play and Carter's effort, a microcosm of the Tigers' defense all season long.
Never giving up on a play. Here's a defensive lineman all the way down the field, and he knocks the ball out for a touchback. That was a huge part because that could have really been, even a bigger deficit we had to overcome. We know that.
Later in the second, another turning point, a simple drop pass. It should have been a sure touchdown. But when Trent Richardson couldn't corral Greg McElroy's first down throw, the Tide settled for a field goal. Then, just before the half, Alabama poised to score once again, but big Nick Fairley burst through the line, sacked Greg McElroy, and caused him to cough up the ball. Auburn recovered on its own 12-yard line.
He's been doing it all year, and that was a huge play at the right time.
The Tigers, still with a faint pulse, trailed 24-7 at halftime. The big question going into the locker room, could they rally after intermission as they had done so many times this season? They answered that just 56 seconds later. Cam Newton hit Terrell Zachary for a 70-yard touchdown, and with plenty of time to go, it was a 10-point game.
And our coaches did a great job of adjusting at halftime, as they've done all year, and the players did a great job of executing it.
After that, the Auburn defense clamped down, holding Alabama to just 3 second-half points and 69 yards. Heisman winner Cam Newton and his offensive cohorts did what they had to do, a 1-yard plunge for 6. And then the backbreaker, a 7-yard touchdown score to tight end Philip Lutzenkirchen. Alabama had one last chance to rally, but Desharvin Bell knocked Greg McElroy out of the game, and the comeback was complete.
It's hard to come back when you're down 24-0 against anybody. It's just hard to do.
We never sweat. We knew that we was in this position a long time before. We knew we could find ways to get out of it, and we made adjustments in the second half, and we came out and played.
We just stuck together as a team, handled adversity, pulled out the victory, man. We said at halftime, just keep fighting and pull out the victory, and we did it, man.
It was a great win for Auburn football. It was a great win for Auburn University. And I couldn't be more proud of a locker room in there that's full of a lot of love, I can tell you that.
If the Auburn Tigers go on to win the national championship, fans will always remember it could never happen without the comeback.
That was a game that will certainly go down in history.